Did you know that 5 NCAA athletes have died by suicide since March 2022? An athlete's mental health is much more important than their performance. This topic should be important to you because if your favorite athletes are not healthy mentally, they aren't going to play as well, or worse, they will even lose their life. To illustrate this, we will look at the cases of the athletes that have tragically committed suicide, the causes of poor mental health for an athlete, and what is or isn't being done to help these athletes. Now, let's look at all of these professional athletes who have sadly passed because of their struggles with mental health. The first athlete that lost her battle with mental health is Katie Meyer. She was a women's soccer player at Stanford University and tragically committed suicide on March 1st, 2022. Katie was a senior on the team and contributed to the 2019 NCAA championship title. After the loss of their beloved daughter, Gina and Steve Meyer now wonder if the combined pressure of school and sports was too much for their daughter. Gina said in an interview with Today on March 4th, 2022 by Scott Stump, "There is anxiety and there is stress to be perfect, to be the best, to be number one." After this loss, her parents were at a loss for words on why their daughter would carry out this sad act. According to CNN by Stella Stan on March 4th, 2022, her parents said there was a situation previously where their daughter defended another teammate. There was an incident that happened and she was facing consequences because of it. This next athlete that was also taken too early by struggles with mental health is Jaden Hill. Jaden was a track and field athlete at the University of Northern Michigan. Many of her teammates and coaches say how amazing of an athlete and a person she was. In an article by The North Wind by Travis Nelson and Justin Van Hoff on April 14, 2022, these authors interviewed many former coaches of hers. The first coach, Jenny Ryan, said the following: "She was extremely dedicated to her sport, a tremendously hard worker, and a warm and engaging person to be around. She will be missed." One of Jaden's former track coaches, Tony Maid, also said, "She used to come to practice often and beat them all. She used to train what she wanted to be everybody. She trained that hard. She wanted to kill everybody. She wanted to be that good. She took it and ran with it. She did it. She was always a ball of fire, and she had that motor and drive. Every time I think about Jaden, I think about that big smile." As you can see, Jaden made a big difference on her team and with her family and friends. Losing such a young, talented athlete is extremely saddening for any person to see. These athletes, along with other people who have lost their life to mental health, will be greatly missed. Next, let's look at how these athletes develop their mental health struggles. The amount of pressure an athlete is under, especially if they want to continue their career, is almost life-threatening because they will do anything to perform well. According to Cleveland Clinic on August 10, 2021, no author, Dr. Sacco says, "Athletes deserve time to sort things out, even if that means sitting on the sidelines for a bit. I think onlookers, we see it from this kind of armchair standpoint where we think we can understand it. And an athlete should be able to figure this out. And I think that really lacks any kind of real awareness of what is going on." Another common cause of athlete mental health struggles is toxic coaching. It is one of the main reasons athletes are struggling to keep the love for their sport alive. According to Global Sport Matters on Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, by Katie Lever, the industry lacks a clear definition of what constitutes abusive coaching, especially when it involves an emotional instead of physical harm. We live culturally in a space where people don't really understand violence or abuse outside of physical violence and abuse. She said, and so most of the time, people aren't taught to recognize the harm that is taking place until severe harm is in the picture. Finally, let's look at what is or isn't being done for these athletes. Many mental health coaches are speaking out. A common issue they are bringing to light is the fact that it's easier for an athlete to get their ankles taped than it is to seek mental health help. They also are not being able to take breaks. Athletes at the collegiate level are also speaking out and asking for more resources to help with their struggles. If these athletes feel that we think their academics and performance on the field is more important than their mental health, we need to do something. In conclusion, an athlete's mental health should come before their performance. To illustrate this, we looked at the athletes that lost their battle with mental health, the causes for athletes to have poor mental health, and what is being done so that we can help these athletes. In the end, we should put athlete mental health before their athletic performance at any given time. We can't keep treating them like robots or we will lose them entirely.